Hi, I'm Deputy Monnett, Laramie County Sheriff's Office Motor Unit. We're here for this week's installment of Motor Officer Safety Tips. We're at High Country Harley. We're going to go inside and talk to Reed. He's going to explain the safety gear that's available to keep us all safe.
Reed? Well, hi, welcome everybody. As mentioned, I'm Reed from High Country Harley-Davidson up here at the Cheyenne store today. And yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about motorcycle safety gear, how important it is, and maybe even have a little story at the end if there's time. We'll see. So we have a couple of mannequins here to show off some of the different stuff. But we say from head to toe, tip to tip, fingertips, however you want to say that stuff. But how important it is, and sometimes it's the essential little things that we really forget about. We start at the bottom. We talk about boots, protective riding gear, closed toe shoes. Some people prefer steel toe also for additional protection, but just having something that's going to give you a little bit of ankle support also, as well as some protection for your feet. And the other thing is, you see most riding boots, stuff like that, you have a small little heel, gives you also a little more opportunity to save things. Sometimes if we're already tippy-toed and things like this, and we get into one little spot, a low spot, some gravel, something like that, maybe we don't have quite as much reserve left to try to bring that back. So another reason why footwear is so important when it comes to this game. As we talk about, chaps, things like that are also important. Otherwise, a lot of the gear now too, a lot of the jeans have abrasion resistant characteristics in them now. A lot of stuff you can buy with Kelvar and that type of stuff. So again, just something that's abrasion resistant. So if there is a accident, you're protected. We get in, like we talked about, jackets, vests, things like this, leather or abrasive, or the new textiles. A lot of the new gear too, it's incredible. They're like, I didn't know this was going to be one of these type of deals, but vented now too. So on those hot days, you can open up these vents, get more venting in there. So a lot more technology in the protective gear, like we mentioned, than there was in the old days too. Helmets now, you have halves, you have three-quarters, you have fulls. Something else that you see a lot of in today's world is the modular helmets, where the entire front will open. So one more way that we're setting up gear and things like this that are functional and make sense. I believe you guys wear modular helmets, so that way when you get there, you can pop those up if you need to have a conversation or something. But at the same time, then you can still maintain that full face as far as safety. Eyewear, another one of those super important things. So a lot of people aren't wearing helmets or wearing halves, three-quarters things. They don't have a face shield. So one of those other things that's incredibly important is having good eyewear on. Something that's going to help keep the wind out of your eyes, so that way you can see better, react better. That's kind of a quick synopsis, rundown on everything. And then the other thing, and I want to talk real briefly about, was making sure that we have the right gear for the trip that we're doing and what we're doing. And this young man that was in just a few minutes ago purchasing some rain gear really reminded me that it's rain gear, but it can be considered safety equipment too, because if you're not properly dressed for the weather that you're out in, that can cause another whole issue when you're soaking wet, you're cold. It takes away from our mental ability to do the things we need to do and concentrate on the things we need to be concentrating on, especially as we're operating a motorcycle out there, and especially in not fantastic weather conditions. I mentioned a quick little story, so here it is. Modern day rain gear, it's really kind of interesting how it's changed. As you saw briefly, there's tops, there's bottoms, and I'm going to sneak back on over here. There's also this thing what we call gaiters, or essentially boot protection. So we can thank Willie G. Davidson for all this modern day rain gear. So I'll try to keep this really quick. So it's Daytona, it's the 80s. Like always, as you're getting ready to leave Daytona, it looks like it's going to rain, but it's not quite raining. So the typical answer for everybody is, at the first stop, there's a gas station about 11 miles out of town on the west side. So the standard answer is, well, hey, we'll get out there, we'll top off, we'll put our gear on, and then we'll be on the road. So like normal, about 5 miles, about halfway to the gas station, it starts raining. So we're not going to make it. You pull over. Well, back then, rain gear was one piece. It was like a giant inner tube about that thick that you had to try to figure out how to wrestle on and off. So here's Willie in the middle of a rainstorm trying to wrestle on his rain gear. He slips, kind of goes down in the ditch a little bit. Well, it's raining. Well, all that rain's going right inside there, right down, and now it's pooling in the bottom. So about the time he gets it wrestled on, gets it on, hops on the bike, off they go. About another 5 miles to the gas station now. Magically, like everything, the second you put your rain gear on, it stops raining. Now the sun comes out. So like Willie said, it must have looked like I was on fire, all the steam coming out of this thing. So we get to the gas station, and like he said, Reed, if you think it was hard putting that thing on, you should see me trying to wrestle that thing off. So I got Clyde Fessler, a couple of the other guys there, and finally get this ring gear off, walks over, throws it in the dumpster, pulls off a corner of this Prestone antifreeze box. And this thing is framed, and it is in the museum. And it's Willie making notes. You know, ring gear's not working, needs to be multiple pieces. Boots need to be separate protection. But it was a really cool and interesting story about how back in the day, you know, that was what Willie G was doing. He was out visiting the dealers. He was out riding with the people to figure out what we needed to be better protected and more comfortable so we could enjoy our favorite pastime and hobby. So again, having the right safety gear is uber important, whether it's something as simple as gloves and eyewear or a complete, you know, head to toe thing. So come on in. We're happy to do some test fitting with you on some of this stuff. Our fantastic staff is happy to answer any additional questions on these things. And it's high time we saw you here at High Country Harley. Thanks for tuning in, and thank you guys for everything that you do for us every day.